Good morning, Class 3 and Class 4. Welcome to your new week of learning. You have got me, Miss Foster, this morning for your reading. Okay then, so for the next 2 weeks we are going to be looking at The Hedgehog by Dick Smith. We're going to do it slightly different than we have done before. I'm going to tell you which chapter to read and you can take your time at home to do that, and then you've got some questions to answer, and the answers then are at the end of the clip. Okay, so to start with, looking at the front cover, what do you think this story might be about? Jot down a few ideas that you have. Then I would like you to read chapter 1, and you'll find this in your PDF document on your home learning page. So I just want you to read the first chapter today. It's not too many pages, I think it's about 6 pages. And yeah, I would like you to read that, and then I've got some questions for you to answer. So, why is the park popular with the local hedgehogs? What are the 3 delicacies that the hedgehogs enjoy eating? What do you think a sow is? Think of 2 warnings Pa might have given to his children about crossing the road. So pause me now while you go away, read your chapter and answer your questions. And then when you're ready, press play and we'll go through the answers. Okay, hopefully you've all had a go at the questions and you've enjoyed the first chapter of The Hedgehog. So the first question was, why is the park popular with the local hedgehogs? And it's popular because it offers good hunting. 3 delicacies that the hedgehogs enjoy eating are mice, frogs and snakes. A sow is a female hedgehog. Hopefully you worked that out from the names of the 3 girl hedgehogs, and they were called sows. And finally, 2 warnings that Pa might have given to his children about crossing the road. You might have put that it's dangerous crossing the road, to always look both ways, only cross when there is no traffic or when you are with a parent, etc. Anything like that, that is sort of warning of the dangers of the road, then that is brilliant. Give yourself a tick. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed your reading today, and we will continue with The Hedgehog tomorrow. Bye. Good morning, Class 4. Welcome to your maths for today. So this week it's going to be a little bit different from what it's been like before, and it's going to be like this from now until the end of term. So I will introduce the maths that we're doing for each day, and then you'll have a video from the White Rose website of somebody teaching you, and then you'll have your worksheet and your answers to go through, okay? Any problems though, you are still more than welcome to email me, and I'm more than happy to go through it with you. Right, so today we're going to recap rounding decimals. I just want to make a point. In the video, it might tell you at certain points to pause and answer the questions on the worksheets. Don't do that. Just carry on watching it, because I've put the worksheet at the end of the video for you to do, and I've chosen the questions I want you to answer. I'm not making you do the whole thing. So yeah, if you could just ignore that part of the video, but the rest go for it. It will start off with a quick recap of some things we've done before. It might be fun for you just to have a little go at that, but don't feel like you need to write that down. You can do that in your head or whatever suits you.
Hello everybody and welcome to today's lesson. We'll start with our flashback 4, and there's the 3E shape in the corner for you to identify. Let's check our answers. So complete the equation. 0.78 is equal to 0.7 add 0.08, of course, there's 8 hundredths. Number 2, find the missing number. Something divided by 100 is equal to 0.04. Well, if we divided 4 by 100, of course the 4, the digit, would move 2 places to the right on a place value grid, so we'd get 0.04. Number 3, write 0.9 as a fraction. You can see there that we've got a 9 in the tens place, so it's 9 tenths, 9 over 10. And question 4, I think this would definitely be a written method for me. If you manage to do this in your head, very impressive. But I'd certainly be getting a pencil and paper out for this one. 326 multiplied by 7 is 2,282. And the 3D shape in the corner, well, we can't see the sort of the other side of that shape. So it could be a square-based pyramid, or it could be a triangular-based pyramid. Either would be an acceptable answer there. Today's lesson is all about rounding, but rounding decimal numbers. We've come across rounding whole numbers before, earlier in the year, but we're going to look now at rounding decimals. But I don't have any decimals yet, because one of the key skills to be able to round is when we've got a number line like this, understanding the missing intervals, or understanding how we work out the intervals which are marked with a line but not with a number. So we can see we've got our multiples of 10, and between each multiple of 10, exactly halfway between, there's an interval. Okay, so let's just take between 10 and 20. I think we know that the gap from 10 to 20 there is 10. So how do we know what that line without a number is? What number is that shown? Well, half of 10 is 5. So the gap between the 10 and the line without the number is going to be 5. So that number is going to be 15. And that's a really important skill when using a number line, when some numbers are given and some aren't, to be able to label the intervals that aren't shown with a number. So we could keep going, of course. The next one that's not labelled will be 25, 35, 45 and 55, and so on. So now, using that, we can place 33 on the number line. And we'd put that around there, wouldn't we? We know it's got to be more than 30, but we know it's less than 35, and we know that that interval that's not marked between 30 and 40 is exactly halfway between 30 and 40. So that's 35. So I've put my arrow between 30 and 35, but a little bit more towards 35 than 30. How about 57? Well, there I've put my mark between 55 and 60. We know the interval that's not marked there is 55, and we know 57 is going to be between 55 and 60. And I've tried to put my arrow a little bit closer to 55 than 60, because we know that 57 is slightly, it's 2 away from 55, it's 3 away from 60. Have a go at identifying which numbers those two arrows are pointing at. Let's see how we got on. Well, the first one is not on 20, is it? But it's really close to 20, so it's just a little bit before 20, so I would say that's 19. Possibly 18, but I think it's too close really for 18, so 19. The second one's a bit harder. Hopefully everyone's got an answer between 40 and 45, that's the main thing. I would say that's 43. I think it's a little bit nearer 45 than 40. Here we've got another number line. Again, we've got some whole numbers shown, so we're not onto decimals yet. And again, we've got between each number that's marked an interval that's not shown with a number. Now, before we saw that each interval was worth 5. Are they worth 5 this time? Well, let's just take the first two numbers that are shown, 4 and 5. We know the gap between 4 and 5 is 1. So what is half of 1? Because that will tell us what to label that first interval that's not yet got a number with. So what is half of 1? Well, half of 1 is a half, isn't it? Or as a decimal, as we know, it's 0.5. So what number is going to be shown there? 4.5, exactly halfway between 4 and 5. And we could continue labelling 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. And if you're asked to do some work on a number line where not all the numbers are shown, it's really useful, and I really often work out the intervals that aren't shown first before I do my work, because that makes me help me to understand the number line a lot better. Now, before you get started on the worksheet, there's a word that you may not have come across that's on that worksheet: integers. I've got shown you two number lines here, and I've highlighted the integers. What's the same about all the numbers I've highlighted? They're all whole numbers, aren't they? You can see I've not highlighted 4.5, 5.5 and the other decimal numbers. Integers is a mathematical word for whole numbers. Okay, so they're all the integers that are shown on that page. Pause the video, note down which of those 4 numbers are integers. Let's check. 7.7, well, that's not an integer because that's got a decimal part to it. 13 is, there's no decimals, no fractions there. 9 is as well, again, no decimals, no fractions. 9.03, well, that's got some decimals, hasn't it? So that's not an integer either. Have a go at questions 1 to 3 on the worksheet. So again, we've got this word integers. And we've got two missing boxes here. We've got some number is smaller than 7.2, and then 7.2 is smaller than some number. And it's asking us what integers does 7.2 lie between. Let's have a look at our number line. And here I've just got a number line from 7 to 8. We've got lots of missing intervals. Okay, I will tell you now we can count up, and between 7 and 8 there are 10 equal pieces. So the number line's been divided into 10 between 7 and 8. So if it's been divided into 10, and the whole gap's only 1, isn't it, from 7 to 8, each small gap, each interval that's not marked, is a tenth, or 0.1. We know 1 divided by 10 is 0.1, or it's a tenth, isn't it? So we could label up 7.1, and of course 7.2 will be the next one if we're counting up in tenths. So what integers, what whole numbers, does 7.2 lie between? Well, we can see on the number line it lies between 7 and 8. Have a go at questions 4 to 6 on the worksheet. So let's have a look at rounding some decimals to the nearest integer. Again, we've got our number line like we had from 7 to 8. It's between 12 and 13 this time. Again, we've got 10 equal pieces it's been divided into. So counting in tenths, because it's been divided into 10, and the two numbers marked are 12 and 13. The next number will be 12.1, 12.2, and then the number we're asked about, 12.3. So we can see on the number line which integer is 12.3 closest to. Well, we can see quite clearly it's closer to 12 than 13. How about 12.9? Well, 12.9 is going to be there, isn't it? If we counted up 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, 12.9 will be just 1/10 away from 13. So if we put our red arrows on, we can see 12.9 is much, much closer to 13. It's in fact only a tenth away from 13, whereas it's 9/10 away from 12. 13. Now, this is where it's a tricky one, and this is where we've got to remember the rule. 12.5 is shown there, and if we looked at our arrows, 12.5 is exactly halfway between 12 and 13, isn't it? It's not nearer one or the other, it's exactly halfway between the two. But when we've got that situation, when it's exactly halfway between two numbers and we're rounding it to the nearest integer, the nearest whole number, we round to 13, don't we? Round up. Just like rounding 45 to the nearest 10, we'd round up to 50. 12.5 to the nearest whole number, or to the nearest integer, we'd round to 13. 5.1 rounded to the nearest whole number. Sometimes people get confused and say it's 4 because we know when we've got 0.1 we're going to round down. A number line helps us see why it's not 4. Here we've got our number line from 5 to 6, again divided into tenths, and let's put 4 on as well. So 5.1 is there, just 1/10 more than 5. And we can see really clearly there that it's much closer to 5 than 4, so 5.1 rounded to the nearest whole number is 5. Pause the video here, have a go at rounding those 4 numbers to the nearest integer, to the nearest whole number. Let's have a check. 2.2 would be rounded to 2. 8.5, of course, is exactly halfway between 8 and 9, but it will be 9. 9.7, well, that will be rounded to 10. And then 0.3. What's the nearest whole number to 0.3, the nearest integer? It's 0. So have a go at questions 7 to 10 on the worksheet. Hello everybody.
Okay, I hope you found that video useful. So this is the worksheet that the gentleman was talking about on the video. You're now going to have a go at it all in one go. Guys, I understand it looks like there's a lot there. If you can't quite manage it all, that's fine, but I would like you to at least answer 4 of the questions, please. If you want to leave 5 and 6, it's not the end of the world. That is fine, because I understand that there's quite a lot there. For the ones where it says draw, I'd just like you just to write in your books whereabouts between the numbers that you would put them, okay? Any problems, just email me, but if you pause the video now, have a go at those, then unpause me and I will put the answers on the screen for you. Okay guys, so the answers are now on the screen. I'm hoping that you found that okay. If you're looking now and you're thinking, I've got all these wrong, or I've got a lot wrong and I'm not sure why, please email me and I will go through them with you. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, guys, so your writing for today, let's have a little look. Our learning objective is, can I use expanded noun phrases to describe? So the first one, I'd like you to label the features of the expanded noun phrase. I stand under the old oak tree at the end of the garden because it provides lots of shade. So you need to find the adjective, the determiner, the prepositional phrase, and the modifying noun. Okay, hopefully you've worked that out. The determiner is the adjective is old, the modifying noun is oak, and the prepositional phrase is at the end of the garden because it's telling you where it was in the garden. Okay, in this one it says, underline the expanded noun phrase in the sentence below. The new shop near the bridge opens next Monday. Okay, which is the expanded noun phrase? Think about it or jot it down. Okay, hopefully you got the new shop near the bridge, because you're not just calling it the new shop, which would be your noun phrase, you're expanding it by telling the reader that it was near the bridge. Okay, so this one asks you to tick the features that have been used in the underlined expanded noun phrase. The big toy box under my bed is full of toys. So is there a determiner, an adjective, a modifying noun, or a prepositional phrase? You decide. Hopefully you worked out that it had got all four. So your determiner was your the adjective was big, the modifying noun was the toy box, and under the bed was the prepositional phrase. Okay, so I'd like you to think, which is the noun phrase that makes most sense in the sentence below? So I went to the something to get some bread. So would new office near the supermarket work? Disused shop next to the cafe, or the little bakery at the end of the road? What do you think? Which one fits best? Okay, I'm hoping that you'd got the little bakery at the end of the road. Okay, so use an adjective and a preposition to expand the underlined noun phrase. So I swept up the leaves to make the garden tidy. So an adjective maybe to describe those leaves, and a preposition, so whereabouts were the leaves? Okay, so there's lots of different things you could have done, but one might have been the dead leaves under the tree. So you've added dead as the adjective and under the tree to tell your reader where they are. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. So your task for today is you need to use the word bank to write an expanded noun phrase which includes two adjectives and a preposition. Okay, so you've got the, stone, little, bridge, over, across. And then you need to use an adjective and a preposition to expand the underlined noun phrase in this sentence. I could see the clouds, so I ran inside before it rained. Okay, best of luck with that, guys. Any problems, just email me. And that's it for today. Thank you.